What's going on, traders? Hope everybody had a good Wednesday, March 29th. Doing a little recap here of the S&P 500. Of course, we're starting off with the daily chart, but before we get into it, if you're enjoying the content that I am providing, please give that like button a friendly handshake. And if you'd like to keep up to date with our newest posts, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And lastly, of course, this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. So, with that being said, here we are at the daily chart. Market's up very nicely today, 1.45%. Final print 401.35. Nice price action today. Big gap up, which had the continuation into the close. We had quite the rally that we were talking about at the end of at the last video. We were talking about the rally in Globex that was taking place, and we saw some nice continuation with that trend today. We had a slight short off of 400, and we'll get into that. But that key level certainly did act as a nice resistance in the morning, and then once we got over, it was game on for the bulls. But like I said, we'll get over that. We'll go into that more a little bit later in the video, of course. So, starting here with the daily chart, we were talking about this kind of hammer coming in right at the close, right at this key bottom of this consolidation we were watching. Boom, big gap up right through the VOPC. I was surprised, we had such a gap up though, in the morning that we really ripped through that. I think actually we were above that when I made the video yesterday. I think we were around that 397.20 area or something like that. But beautiful move upwards. And we came back in, retested, did a little BRB action here, and then moved back up higher. And we've been talking about the BRB off this big trend line for a while, and today got that opportunity and saw a nice move off of it. So where we are now, again, now in a tricky area here, you can see we're gonna the FOMC highs, which I think is where we will try to tap, if not tomorrow, maybe the day at. Well, I guess. Well, yeah, okay. Tomorrow's Thursday. Okay, I'm getting all confused. It's Thursday now when I'm recording this, so. I would surmise. Well, tomorrow we have GDP, but other than that, I think that we could see some consolidation and chop tomorrow after such a big move. So watch out for that. We could have more, some tricky price action tomorrow, fake breaks in both directions. So I'll be watching out for that. And then maybe we kind of, meander around in this little area here and then make that final push up into the FOMC highs. And ultimately, we need to get over this neckline here, the top of the consolidation, the 404.25. Now that I think about it, I think I put in the wrong number on one of my Twitter posts. I'm going to have to fix that or delete it. Okay, so, we could see a fake break. I mean, I wouldn't really consider this the neckline at 407. I would consider this more. But, if we do get over, obviously, these big levels, we can see fake breaks. Very possible, like we saw here. Otherwise, I'd like to see the breakout over here. And then maybe if we can get over these highs, which was my first kind of general target. And actually, we'll go over some other targets in a different daily chart in a second. But ultimately, over this 407.53, over the COVID highs, be looking for this POP here, this breakdown up around that 410 area. So that's kind of what I'm looking at as far as that's concerned. But mindful for the chop tomorrow. I wouldn't mind, if we did another BRB or came back in, retested this VOPC. It's kind of a bit of a way down, and then come back up higher to finally test this. So those are a couple scenarios I'm watching for sure. As far as the moving averages are concerned, we are over the 9, 20, 50, 100, 200 over. So everything's looking good as far as that is concerned. If moving averages are your thing, kind of starting to cross over here a little bit, but nothing confirmed yet. Okay, so let's look at this other daily chart here. Okay, perfect. All right, so we hit back in this area that I have been targeting as long as we were over that consolidation. Once again, close over. So, like I was saying, we could form another smaller type body candle. Maybe we're down, 2.5 per, 0.25%. Maybe we're green, but maybe watch for a little flag here. Of course, we have to watch the gap. And as you know, at one point or another, all gaps are usually filled, I think, with about a 70 to 80% like probability of it happening. So we do want to watch that. Will GDP be the information that the data that brings us lower? I don't know about that. Maybe, but we definitely want to keep an eye on the gap for sure. Either way, because that could get filled. And maybe what I was saying earlier, as far as the daily VOPC, we might actually come down, try to fill it, but not actually fill it, and just get about 3/4 of the way, come off VOPC and come back up. Either way, I'll be watching the VOPC and that 395 pivot here around 396 is where we've got some confluence with the 9 and 20 here on the daily. Certainly going to be watching that 397, 50, and 400 as well to hold for the bull case. So, if we kind of meander around here like I'm thinking, and we do hold this zone at least, and still really technically if we hold, VOPC, but if we hold, then I'll be looking for that push back up to this next ultimate profit target area. 404.28, around 405.28, that zone as well. POP right here, so that's where we're getting that from. And then if we can get over, like I was saying before, if we can get over, kind of form a little base again, ultimately going to be targeting up this next POP, and I'll start to mark it off here so we can have it on this chart. We'll be up here around that 410 zone. So let's watch for that as long as we can hold these key areas. All right, one last thing, I guess. Let's just take a peek at the fibs. We haven't looked at them in a while. All right, so of course everybody too is watching this inverted head and shoulders. We've already been over that and stuff. So 403 is a 61.8 retracement. Want to watch for that. We could come up here, reject back down, very possible. We could just trade around in this zone with some consolidation for a few days. We were lucky to get a nice strong move today, but as far as the rest of the week and had the probability of getting another big day like that, it's probably, I would have to say, less than 50%, although as much as I'm sure all of us would love another big day. I don't even care what direction it goes in, as long as we get some follow through like we did today. Coming down 1% or up another 1% down. I don't really care, but it's all about the follow through for me. So let's watch this 61.8 retracement for sure here. Could come back in and retest the 50 as well, but we are kind of in this very special spot between the 50 and 61.8 right now. So let's just watch this little area for sure between that 403.91 and 399.50.45 area, we'll call it. But it's very possible at some point next week we do see the Bears attempt to fill the gap. I don't know if they'll get the whole thing. We're going to have to see how these moving average kind of shape up tomorrow. But certainly if these move up tomorrow and kind of line up here, triple confluence on a move like that, that's definitely a long that I would consider taking personally. We do also want to watch out, it kind of got denied, but we are still going to be watching this broader uptrend as well. And we can make a case here. It's not quite there yet, really an up channel right here kind of just going on. I was going to see if we could make a case for an a rising wedge, an ascending wedge formation, but I don't really see it right now. We're just trading in this channel, so let's keep an eye on that. If it comes down, could be another long and just trade up in this zigzagging, and we'll see if we start to break below. Short's definitely going to be in order, but definitely want to pay attention to this channel here. All right, enough of me rambling on about the daily charts. Let's get into today's price action. Last video we did it on futures. But today I'll go back to SPY for y'all. Let's get into today's price action. Oh, nice here. Nice 50% retracement here. This also was the BRB level, and we'll get into that in a second. And as a matter of fact, let me just mention it here. So, the uptrend channel, I love BRB setup. Okay, we were talking about this. You can see it here kind of on the 4 hour where we broke over, came back in, retested. Zoom in so you can see it here. I'll do it a little clearer. We've talked about this type of setup many times. Right here, came up, back tested, boom. I mentioned this on my Twitter, so if you aren't following me, I do depending on the day and depending on what's going on, I try to do some updates of calling out some price action that I'm seeing on my Twitter. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you can follow me at _SharkTrader. Anyway, but you can see here also 20, if you're a moving averages person, we had the crossover, tap the 20, tap the 20 here on the 30. Love those longer time frames, and you knew that we were just riding the bull trend at that point. So that was really nice continuation from Globex. All right, so let's get back into. It's really beautiful, now that I'm just looking at it, how clean that was, just riding those, and even if you use the clouds, you could use the clouds right here. All right, I'm glad I got out of my futures. So. All right, let's get into today's price action. Just look at it at the 30, should be kind of interesting. A bit more cluttered. Did it on the, I do it on the 5 so you guys can see a little bit clearly. I mean, I don't trade on the 5, but here's the 10. Why don't we do it on the 10 today? All right, so came into supply here. My morning plan was, we had such a move in Globex, so I was favoring a bit of a short play in the morning, and then to go long and follow the broader trend in the later in the afternoon, and that is what I did. I was really happy about how the plan played out, and not only that, I don't get paid to make a plan. I get paid to execute, and today we did that very nicely, so I was happy to see that work out. Now, so we came up right into the supply 400 area, big area, came up to the top of the range, took some shorts in here. I didn't take it on options. I wanted to wait for the longs and the options to go more with the broader trend. I just took this on futures, but got about 10 points or so out of this, maybe a little bit more. It was very nice to see. We had a bit of a flag and then kind of just broke down, which was beautiful. But my thought was, we did need to cool down some after that run, and I thought this would be normal, type of price action. And then once we were banging around here for a bit, so we had this is some demand here. Once we broke this structure, came back down, didn't get a retest. Maybe here, I don't think it was on the 5. Yeah, we did here. This should be out a little bit further, but got the breakdown, a bit of the retest. So if you didn't want to take this short, I'm gonna move this. Okay. If you didn't want to take the short up here, these are nice, but they are counter trend trades. I took it a little bit smaller because that's what I do when I take counter trend trade. But and a counter trend trade in the sense of the broader trend that we were in, as you saw earlier on the 30-minute. But it came up, breakdown candle, POP, down, bear flag, breaking this demand here, came up, retested. So you could have taken the short here on the retest. That was definitely a viable move as well. And then taking profits down here. As we came into this demand level that we've got mapped out. Can you see where it comes from? Coming from the breakout highs of yesterday in Glowback. I'm not going back in that right now because the video is already getting long and I'm rambling. So descending wedge right into the demand. Beautiful. Break of the structure here again. So downtrend break, came up higher low, little kind of a BRB again, depending on how you had the trend line drawn higher low. You could have taken the long here if you didn't want to nab it down here. Also double bottom basically right here as well. And then we started to rally up. I did not take this long personally. I'd have to look back. I might have taken it on options. I don't think so. I don't. Everything's a blur. The days go by altogether so fast. Ever since COVID, the sense of time and everything's just been out of whack. Anyway, but I did go long. I'm pretty sure actually this is when I went long. Here, not in this one. I got long here in futures. This was also that BRB and that 50% retracement on the fibs that I was pointing out earlier, and this is that BRB on the daily downtrend break that I mentioned on my Twitter. So got in here, had some backup. Now this was a little annoying. Before I get into this though, I have to mention this here. As this rally came up, you can see the supply rejection. Pretty easy. Back down though. This was the demand area. This is when we broke before. We came back into, now once we cleared back over, it did the flip, and then this is the area to consider for the longs again, and that's what I did. Took the long here, came up. I think I did scale some up in this area on the options, but I didn't get all my position out. Futures, I did scale some here again, but then when we got back into this area, I just reloaded. I wish I went heavier here, but I didn't. But either way, I was fine. Little fake break here, liquidity grab, and then we were just off to the races. Had a bit of this downtrend. Same thing, break of the structure, break of that. Okay, this is messing up all my. This is messing up all my text. Hold on. All right, that's a little better, I guess. Okay. Oh, why am I OCD getting me here? Okay, whatever. And then so we came back in, break a structure, back up, boom. Okay, beautiful. Love to see it. Now, POP filled at this point. Targeting next POP here. Breakdown filled. Okay, came back over. We were over 400 now. Now the bears are getting nervous. Came back down twice. Higher low again to back test that 400. And they found the buyers there. Boom, once we broke over, bears are trapped. Here, that candle wick was pretty funny and funky. Got me a little nervous there for a second, but for me, still holding over that 400. I was chilling and still holding the 20, if you're moving averages, cat. And then bull flag, a bit of an ugly one, sure, but bears trapped over this area, in my opinion. And then we got the squeeze. This was beautiful out of the flag. Another higher low again. Still didn't break any moving average. Still held higher low. And this was really the top of the volume profile for the day. And coming into that value area high, where we started to kind of fizzle off. So that's the whole breakdown there. What are we getting in tomorrow? Like I said, I think we can see some more. I think we can see some chop. So I want to be careful of that. But let's pull up this. No, this is not gonna work. Where did we do it last time? Here? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so you can see I've got the BRB here on this one too. What the hell do I even have drawn on this? This is my Wyckoff one. Okay, this is fine. We'll do it here. Needless to say, this trend line that we were watching, remember this from a couple of videos ago. If you go back, we were watching this trend line. Boom, 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 boom. Beautiful. Very nice. Right around my B-day. Very nice. Okay, anyway. So, what can we have in store for tomorrow? Well, ultimately, this is, bigger picture here. Where are we? I mean, we're not that far away. 403, we could come up to this and try to engage these sellers up here. 403, I'm not sure. We've got GDP tomorrow. It's kind of an important print, not so much as CPI, but definitely people are going to be watching it, so it is important for sure. So that could put a wrench in all this. I still think we're going to chop around, but let's see. I think ultimately we are going to engage these sellers. Let's just see if we can't look. I know on the 4 hour we're in a very tricky spot. So let's watch this here. I'm gonna watch to see how this develops. Looks like there's starting to become a little bit of buy side liquidity here, but this whole area has not filled out. So I'm gonna be watching this 398.25. We'll call it 397.50. Of course, always keeping an eye on that 397.50 as a good gauge. And certainly if we break below 400, probably be looking to target back down towards that, ultimately that 397.50. But they're going to have to chew through this little area. It's not that big, but they'll have to chew through that. So, if they can, let's watch out for that. But could break, could hold here as well. But this whole area, a lot of sellers, so we're going to be trudging water up here. But, if I had to guess what I might consider to happen tomorrow, we come up, retest the FOMC high, maybe a bit of a fake break over, get the bears excuse me, get the bulls all happy and excited, and then we roll over. Fake break over this area, and then start to roll over. I'm going to watch out for that scenario tomorrow. I'll probably be sizing down and sitting on my hands a lot. Like I said, I'm going to be anticipating that choppy price action, so I'm going to be a bit more defensive tomorrow. If I did play with normal size, I'll probably just be in and out for like 5 point scalps or something like that, or I don't even know how much options I'll do tomorrow because, I don't, really just taking, 15 or 10% on options for me is it's just not my style. And it's not really, I hate to say, worth my time, but kind of, yeah, but we'll see. Definitely a little spicy here, getting a little interesting on the Momo overbought indicator. I want to watch out for that. Are we above value? We are above value here, so that is something to note. Value area high sitting just above 400 and 7. So markets are a bit thin for sure at this in this area. I don't see the risk to reward being too hot. For longs, gonna need a deeper retracement. Certainly watch out for if we come back in, and we might not even get down to here, but possibly. But watch this high here. Watch here to see if we get a back test of that area, and if they can't hold it, probably look for some of that downside. So if we do break this this high here, probably look to target back down maybe to these highs, first area, and then back down to here, 397.90, and then ultimately that 397.50, where I would consider a long in that area. But that's kind of my idea for tomorrow. I'm not really going to rush into anything in the morning. It feels like it could be a bit trappy for the bulls, but of course GDP, like I said, so that could just change everything. So that's kind of my plan on that one. Let's just look at some areas that could be supported as well. All right, we've already talked about this zone here. And let's look for these areas to be supported, a little bit thicker area of buyers up in this 397, 396.75 area. This one around the 395. But this area around that 396 is VOPC. The liquidity doesn't interest me that much, but volume point of control on the daily does. So I would consider again in that 396, but really more interested in these this area down by the pivot in 395. That's definitely a bit of a ways away. So I'm not putting too much stock into that, pun intended, at this time. But I definitely want to be aware of this area. If we get back down there later, some areas that we could potentially pick up some longs in. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. A little closer view. Okay, we've already kind of discussed this area for sure. But I don't see anything else. Okay, here. I think these are worth mentioning. We'll have to see about these tomorrow. So again, 400. So potential pickup areas there in the 400, 401, 475. And that's a nice tight wrist though. So that's really, if it doesn't work there, it's not. If it breaks, it's not a bad loss. And let's watch these the breakout highs here too. So we'll be watching these as well. Right here in that whole 400, 450 to 450 to 433. So, all right, that's pretty much some areas I'll be looking for some longs. Kind of gave out my plan for what I'm thinking in the morning. Maybe that potential fake break to the upside and then down. But mostly thinking about chop tomorrow. So let's just be careful of that and be more defensive. All right, 30 minutes of me rambling about the market. I probably hit all that anyone can handle, myself included. I hope everybody has a great Thursday. Be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.